Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave. Yep, that's it. Hi, I'm Taylor-Alexis, and welcome. This is a safe place to talk dangerously about life in your 30s with a little bit of wellness and film. All right, so today we're going to talk about knowing when to walk away. Whether you're leaving a relationship, a friendship, a job, maybe even family, knowing when to walk away is key because your peace is what matters. Let's talk. Now, I know it might seem like walking away is the weak thing to do. You're not, tough as you want to be, all of that. No. Sometimes walking away is best for protecting your peace, your sanity, your sacred being, all of that. Well, I think drama is necessary and it's for life, right? You can't all be peaceful, but you could walk away from unnecessary drama. You know how we spoke about creating space for better? This is also part of that as well, right? Letting go of anything that's draining you, letting go of blockages so that you can move on to a more peaceful life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but more peaceful, right? So is there such thing as true peace in life? I don't know. I don't think there will be with the way that the world is. But anyways. So of course, there's always going to be some signs when you have to walk away from someone, something, or whatever. I think the first one is when there's a lack of respect altogether, right? And sometimes it could be very subtle, right? You just start coming in and you're like, hold up, I must be. But when there's no lack of respect and you've maybe tried to voice those things, right? Because you can't always run from your problems. You got to face them head on. If you voice your issue with the lack of respect and the person doesn't maybe apologize or try to make change, then like, okay, you might have exhausted all that you can with that. And you should kind of distance yourself or create some kind of distance. Another reason when you're constantly feeling drained, I always like to check in with my energy after I hang out with people or things like that just to see where I'm at. And I know I could be like, like an emotional fairy sometimes. Not the whole fairy, like, or a hippie. Let's just say that, an emotional hippie. So sometimes, I will feel overstimulated. Listen, self-awareness is key. I know. I'm like, yo, you go out these days in your 30s and then you come home and you're like, I don't want to go anywhere for like the next 2 months or 2 weeks. Let's not be too dramatic. But sometimes it's 2 months. And then also I think a third reason would be, because I like to do things in three. I think the third reason would be stagnation. If you feel like it's like not growing or this situation's a dead end, whether it's a relationship, friendship, job, whatever, even family dynamics, like it's okay to walk away. It might be hard, I wouldn't always encourage no contact with every single thing, but some things deserve no contact, just so you can protect your peace, protect your sanity. Because that stuff is, I'm telling you, when it's draining and trying to get back to center, like we only have but so many hours in the day, like for ourselves. So we'll try to use them as best as we can. Okay, so Tay, how do you know the difference with fighting for something or forcing something? Something that's worth fighting for will be something that has mutual effort, right? All of these one-sided dynamics, If you're giving grace and the person isn't, bleh. Right? If you're patient with them and you're trying and they're not, bleh. Again, actually, I say this to say, right? All of these things, right? I think you should go to the person and have a conversation with them, right? That is healthy confrontation. Like just say, hey, your actions made me feel this way, or I feel this way whenever you do this, blah, 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 and then see if you can salvage it. But if you can't, it's okay to do no contact. Like you could just move on and make room for better. But with forcing, it's like you're pushing too hard, like you're constantly butting heads, right? It just doesn't seem like you and that person are compatible, whether that's dating, friendships, job, or whatever, right? I'm not saying that there are going to be, moments in life where stress doesn't exist and there's no such thing as resistance. No, some of that is good, right? It sharpens you, right? Iron sharpens iron. It sharpens you to a sense. But if it's like constant, if it's a drag, then I think you have to go within, talk to whomever you believe in, and ask those questions of like, I think it's time to leave. Hold on a second. The bottom line is fighting is healthy effort, right? And forcing is stress and frustration. And look, Everything's not black and white. I feel like I have to keep saying this, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's nuance with everything, right? Yes, you're going to have to fight a little bit for, things to work. So it might feel like forcing, but it's actually like you're kind of pushing through that wall, right? That wall that might come in between you and the other person. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Listen, I believe that everybody here is good up here. I know it doesn't sound fun, but I always like to do pros and cons, right? And maybe this might be the business school in me when we do like a SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But we can simplify that into pros and cons, right? Just make a pros and cons list of whatever dynamic. If it's a job, right? What's the pros? Hey, you're making a decent amount of money. The con, you're stressed out, right? It could be like, all right, then you figure out what's your exit plan or things like that. Or, you have a toxic relationship, and right now the bad is just really outweighing the good, and it's like, how do you navigate that? And you look at those pros and cons and see if these things are fixable, right? That's also something helpful with pros and cons list. See if these things you can fix, if you can like try to work on it, and if not, then you might have to like go your separate ways, right? And don't be afraid, you can do that for friendships too. Lord have mercy, you do it with anything. Use the pros and cons list for anything. Or I'm not saying to live your life like business school, but it applies. It applies. And listen to your gut sometimes. Sometimes your gut knows before your feelings do, right? So listen to your gut. There's so much power in our intuition. Women, so much power. And I hate that joke. They're like, oh yeah, if women's intuition was so great, well, how come they couldn't see that he wasn't happy? Because sometimes men are thespians. Sometimes, not all, sometimes, keywords there. Yeah, and I wouldn't look at it as a loss. Like, let's try to reframe that as redirection and protection, right? Because we always say the world's rejection is God's protection, right? And it's so humbling. Oh man, it's so humbling to see what you've been protected from, like maybe months out, years out. You're like, okay, cool. God has bigger plans. God has bigger plans. With that being said, let's wrap. Now, walking away doesn't mean that you give up. It just means that you're choosing you. And sometimes walking away could be for a season. You could walk away for a season. You could walk away forever. Like you could figure it out, depending on what it is, right? And, I always look at it like, if it's meant to be, it will be. It will come back together. It will be yours. But there's some kind of theory. They say like, a person's not supposed to be in your life. I don't remember the name of it. But a person's not supposed to be in your life, you'll never see them. You'll never like run into them again. And I think about that so often, like, wow, like just with people, no, not even like if you have beef or something like that, but just in general, like that's interesting that you kind of don't run into certain people ever again. So enjoy them while they're here, right? What is that future thing? He says, enjoy them while you're here, because one day I'm gonna block you. It's a mess. Let's get back to, leave the toxicity alone. No toxic behavior here. Don't be afraid to choose yourself. That's my ending word. I'm getting all my Jerry Springer vibes. Don't be afraid to choose. What's the accent? Don't be afraid to choose yourself. It's okay. It will come back to you. All right. I love you all. I hope you're well. I will see you next week. And thank you so much for tuning in to A Safe Place to Talk Dangerously, Darling, with Taylor-Alexis. Okay, bye. Choose yourself. Always and forever.